Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 6th of October episode of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft podcast. It's not a podcast, it's a live stream. Got a blade, got some burr, and we're going to talk about some bushcrafty stuff. And in fact, once again, hey, Tenenbaum, how's it going? I get the feeling that this buzzing on my phone is people who do not read my socials trying to find out where the hell I was at 9, which was 1 minute ago. You can't hear me. Interesting. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Bum bum bum. Well, there's audio here. I'm hearing myself. Grace, can you hear me? Because I'm hearing myself, but I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not muted. Okay, and according to my settings, all is well. So I don't know. So who's hanging out with me so far? Grace, Tenenbaum, and Simon. How's everyone doing this week? Simon, you got any good news? Got any good news on the employment front or anything you want to talk about? Hey, Jonathan Millie's here. How's it going? How is it going? Everyone's hanging out with me. Just another Tuesday night. Obviously, I did not opt for Monday night this week. I'm not sure if I'm going to change it. I feel that the reason I want to change it is to not be in conflict with Canoe Hound anymore. But if he's actually getting off, if he's actually sticking to 2 hours, then it's not going to be a problem. Hey, Black Dog, how's it going? And I really want Canoe Hound to be on one of my live streams soon. I got stuff I want to ask that guy, and I got plans that I think he would be terrific for. Once again tonight, I don't have anything planned, and I haven't worked on any of this stuff that I was hoping to have planned for, like panel discussions and interviews. I'm feeling really run down, guys. I really, really am. Who's Jonathan? You're roasting pumpkin seeds. Man, that is one of the most underrated snacks for the trail, for the campsite, and for my living room. I love home roasted pumpkin seeds. You just throw them into an envelope and send them to me, man. I'll just eat and eat and eat. What was I going to say? Yeah, so who's drinking beer? Simo? Yeah, I'll have you on in a little bit. I think that would be good. It's been a while since you've been... yeah, I completely missed it. Jonathan, I missed Canoe Hound's stream tonight completely. I had a governing board meeting for my daughter's school. I've been on the governing board now for 3 years. I think I'm halfway through my second term, and it's an important job, that's for sure, but it does tend to take up time because each meeting takes like 2 hours. Outdoor Daubers here. Brendan, you're having a beer with me. Nice. What are you having? Hey, Grace is having a red stripe. Oh, okay. So, Jonathan, you're doing those pumpkin seeds and prep for hunting next week. I miss hunting in so many ways. Now, let's see if I get my desk all soaking wet with this beer. Ooh, what a smell. John, this is your third live stream tonight while doing chores. So before me, you were at the Canoe Hound one, and then so who was before that? Oh, I have never had this beer, so we're right back to my my motif here. This is the signature series from Les Trois Mousquetières, made with Quebec malt. Les Trois Mousquetières is it's a microbrewery on the South Shore in Brossard, and I was there buying a whiskey barrel, an empty whiskey barrel for another channel I'm thinking of starting, like a whiskey, well, a whiskey and fine spirits channel. So I bought the barrel. I'm gonna fix it up a little bit, and it's funny. I should be excited about starting that new channel, but I'm not excited about anything right now. I think I'm COVIDed right out. So this is an Oktoberfest copper lager. Now this is called a strong beer, but it's not that strong. It's a 6%. So in terms of Canadian beer, it's But here's the thing: it's 6%, and it's a 750 milliliter. So I may not exactly pound it. Okay. Let's see if I bugger up the pour. Man, I wish Serge would come around again. He's been really busy, and his life has really changed, so he hasn't had a lot of time. But I miss having that guy on. Like every time he was on, I would completely blow the beer pour. It'd be like 2/3 head. So I've never actually had an Oktoberfest before. So here's to it. Oh man. Oh, there's a weird like coppery thing across the top there, but refreshing. It's got a light and it's lively. It's a little hoppy, but not like in a oppressive IPA sort of sense. Hells yeah. Okay, so where was I? So Jonathan had said this was his third live stream tonight. Brandon, Lake of Bays flight plan. I don't know that one at all. I will try to find a URL. Lake of Bays, I guess, is the brewery. I'll take a look. Oh yeah, Kyle Noseworthy. Yeah, he's live streaming too. Outdoor says he had a sour beer with sea salt in the Adirondacks last weekend. It was Kick Donkey. I've never even heard of it. That's the beauty of microbrew. You can be like, you can be a microbrew aficionado and still there be something in the next state or province over that you've never even heard of. I think we're kind of reaching peak microbrew now, though. I think I used to wish I could open a microbrewery, but now I wouldn't. I would open a micro distillery. I would put away like a few barrels of whiskey and let it age for a while, and then make gin until those had aged, and keep making gin. But unfortunately, in Canada, getting the permit to legally run a distillery, even for personal use, it's you're unlikely enough to get it that it may as well just be illegal to own a still. So yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, except outdoor, I didn't wreck the pour. Oh, Jonathan started intermittent fasting this week, so no beer or pumpkin seeds for me tonight. My buddy Robin's doing intermittent fasting as well. I would do intermittent fasting, but I only kind of want to do every second day, like the part where I'm not fasting. Nate, how's it going? Yeah, I've heard Tenenbaum says that Oktoberfest as a style can cover a lot of ground. I've heard that, but because I've never had anything that says Oktoberfest on it, I don't know. The flavors are. I'm looking for the English here. Okay, copper lager brewed to celebrate in our very own way the famous beer fest in Germany. The flavors. They're using the American spelling of flavors. What is it with French Canadians, man? Fresh grains, herbal, barley sugar, pairings, German sausage, sauerkraut, and pretzels. All of which are foods that I like. 100% malt from Quebec. The hops are Hallertau, Pearl, and Crystal, also Quebec. The IBU is 20, which is good. Unfiltered, which I like in beer, and I like unchill filtered in scotch and whiskey as well. So I think that this is supposed to be a Marzen style or Martzen style. Hey, Fox, it's here. Okay, so Lake of Bass is in your backyard. I should probably get to your house so that I can try that at some point. Up near Huntsville and Algonquin. I am living in the wrong part of the country. Okay, so it's a Märzen. Märzen. So named because it's typically lagered from March to the autumn. No, I would not do that. I know people who work at the CBC, and it would feel very awkward. Um, yeah, sauerkraut and pretzels. Oh, man, I love those big pretzels that you can get from the street vendors in like places like New York and Toronto with the big rock salt on them. Oh, so good. So bad for me, but so good. Oh, nice. Black Dog says a friend grows about 6 different types of nut trees. He is supplying hickory nuts shells to flavor gin. I man, I would love to do that. Like a craft distillery kind of thing. Even just a like enough for me and to give bottles out to like 10 or 20 friends kind of thing. I would also love to be financially in the financial position to be able to buy um, a barrel of whiskey from a distillery. Like some distilleries, some of my favorite distilleries, in fact, will sell you your own cask. But the thing is, after storage, because you want to let it age, right? After storage and bottling and stuff, it's like 10 to 16,000 pounds sterling. So you kind of want to have 20 guys together, each of whom want like 10 bottles, kind of thing. Which, by the way, is the way the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society started. Um, yeah, and Jonathan, small distilleries is sort of where craft brews were when it was time to get in. Like now we've reached peak craft brew. I would not be throwing my money at that. That blue light behind me, when I bought it, I didn't know it was going to blink like that. Sorry, guys. If that irritates you, there's nothing I can do about it. But good old IKEA. I'm always looking for a bottle. Yeah, Nate, man. At one point, I'm gonna. Interesting. Hey, Serge is here. I was just talking about you. I didn't blow the pour tonight. I did it right. I did it okay. Yeah, I think you'd be proud of me. Oh, Jonathan didn't even notice the light that I had bought to add a little depth to my set. My set being the finished half of the basement. A bottle capper, yeah. So, yeah, nice. No, it's a strip. Like I'm using a different one just above my desk here to see to light my desk. I took the desk lamp off and got rid of it. So you know what? Who wants to come on and yap? I'm hoping Nate says me. Let's keep it to canoeing, bushcrafting, outdoorsy stuff. No guns, no politics. And for crying out loud, let's not discuss COVID. I am so damn tired of that. I brought all these paper towels just in case that bottle went poof when I opened it. Watershed Distillery, and the gin is called Nocino. Hold on. Because the thing is, what a lot of small distilleries will do is they'll put away a couple of they'll put away a bunch of barrels for to age, as one does with whiskey. But you don't have to age gin, right? You make gin, you put it out the door. So to keep the wheels from falling off while they're waiting for the whiskey to age, they do gin. Watershed Distillery, because I'm seeing a Nocino from New Deal Distillery, which is in Portland, Oregon. I'll just look up Watershed Distillery, Columbus, Ohio. Oh yeah, I see it. Nocino. Wow, that is a dark gin. Oh, okay, it's a liqueur. Ohio black walnuts, sugar and spices. Really, it's once a year unlimited supply. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I would like to try that. Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Stuff. Stuff.
What a weird idea.
Outdoor. I remember you saying that you'd made some Nocino last spring. I didn't get to go down and taste it though. Oh no, Serge. So you got tested today. Well, here's the thing. If you're positive, you'll know by tomorrow. If you're not positive, it'll take a few days. So if you don't hear anything tomorrow, then you dodged a bullet.
It's always the same thing, and the same one that are lucky with this.
Yep.
Serge, next
Shagger
time, take a lottery ticket on this.
Yep. I bought a lottery ticket so that I've decided. I think I'm ready to win. I think I haven't really wanted. I haven't been ready yet, but I'm ready now. So I went and bought a ticket. I'm going to win. I'm going to buy a bunch of hectares out in the Boreal somewhere.
Forget about Boreal.
And I'm gonna.
I've learned today that we can still buy huge lands within 1 hour of Montreal at a decent price. Well,
but what's it zoned for? Oh yeah, North Shore. But is it zoned?
It is. Yes. It is still rural. You can basically do pretty much whatever you want within code. I mean.
Yeah, but I want to be in the woods. I don't want to be on like farmland or something.
It is
like Christmas in a bottle.
Yeah, it is the wood. It's simply forest. There's nothing else there. But you're still within 1 hour of Montreal.
I'm going to need a URL. Like, now.
That's going to be complicated.
I know. We can talk about it later. I mean, most of the people on here.
We're going to take this one offline. Yes, Serge, you can build whatever you want there. That's the beauty with this.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would walk into Lee Valley with like a lot of money and I would just start buying tools. And then
I wouldn't. I'll probably just order it online right now.
Okay, but in a non-COVIDed world, like we're supposed to be talking about. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm back.
Surprising.
Yeah. I think most bushcrafters, if they don't have a chunk of land, want a little chunk of land.
Do you have access to one?
You have access to one, you said?
I still have.
Yeah.
I'm just unable to go.
Yeah, Serge has access to a chunk of land that we've gone to a lot, but I think he probably can't go either. And I definitely can't go.
Oh, geez, that's a no-brainer these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was able to go beginning of September.
Yeah.
Beginning of September. I spent a whole day there, literally only walking. And well, ate a small lunch and whatever's going on. But
when did you go camping?
I did go to the Voyageur Provincial Park near in Ontario, but you're straight on the Quebec border.
And when was this again? Because I remember it's the photos, but I don't remember when the heck that was.
It was the weekend of.
It was August, wasn't it? Because it was around the
Nope.
time that I went camping. No,
It was the weekend of the 19th and the 20th.
oh, it was around the time that Outdoor Dauber went camping.
Yeah, and it was freaking cold at night.
Okay, actually, there's a question here. Hey, I got an idea. If you guys have a question, like Brendan Cosman just asked, put question in capitals and then colon so that I see it and I'm like, okay, and I
Yep.
What the hell's that? But I sort of anyway, what else? I'm not making sense. I'll just get to the question. Would you go all out with power tools to build a cabin, or would you try to do as much as you could without them? I would go full on hand tools. I would try.
I wouldn't.
I would have a chainsaw, I think, because that part's just a whole lot easier. But Pine Martin once called me a romantic because I love the pageantry of the old school, but the thing is, it would take me so much longer to build one that way, wouldn't it? Right? You're not getting your cabin up in one season if you're using
I'm not against manual tool at all. The question is more, what is the time frame that I have to do it?
Yeah, and that's legit.
That's it.
Yeah. Black Dog says,
and I won't go. There's one power tool that I want to use, and it's basically drills and impacts.
Oh, impact screw. Yeah.
That's basically the only thing that I truly believe that will do the job so much faster, especially for smaller screws. If I need to drill 1-inch hole, forget about it. I'm gonna take the brace and do it by hand. Yep.
I get that. Yeah. Black Dog, I'm glad you found some canning jars. Man, as soon as Montreal and the surrounding areas went into the red zone, people started hoarding stuff again. So, I go out to buy some provisions and like there are shelves that are empty again. So I'm glad that you're finding the stuff you need.
Yep. Jonathan?
Yep.
Your question is actually pretty good. And it's all based on some research that I've done. And it would take probably 2 hours to answer this question alone.
The simple thing is that Crown land is Crown land, but there are certain provincial differences that
there's.
Yeah,
we're in Quebec. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So if there's at least one layer of red tape in each province, Quebec has
4,
maybe 5.
That's the French influence.
And even though we're doing it good in Quebec compared to France.
Yeah. That's because of the
it is crazy in France.
Yeah. Mark, hi. Okay. Mark's having web issues.
Yeah, I spoke with him a bit earlier tonight, and it's gonna take a small power outage to resolve his modem problem.
Look what Outdoor says. Who's on first? I'll break your arm if you say who's on first. I love it. I love it.
That's the kind of comment that I wasn't foreseeing from Ado Dauber. I was more thinking about Mark.
So Nate's he says he's editing photos from today. So and he's tonight is his Friday, so he's had a bunch of beer so far. So Nate, what have you been drinking? If you're not going to come on and talk to us and regale us with your stories, then I want to know what you're drinking. I want to know how many photos you're what the photos are of. Did you hit the woods after work today or something, Mr. Nate? Now we'll wait for that system of ours to let him know that I just spoke to him. Well, yeah, Serge, you've been gone, man. You've been gone. You've been, hurts my feelings, man. It really hurts my feelings. Probably been ensconced with the new love, but that's okay. That's okay. All the power to you. Nice to see you here though tonight, and if we can find any way to hit that little chunk of land at some point before it gets too cold. Actually, we went in the winter last time. That was nice.
Yep.
Gotta make a big old fire. That's the thing, man. If you're in the winter in Canada,
yeah, Serge regretted it. I gave him some winter pants, insulated ones. Well, because he's a bit taller than me, and they were a bit long. Let's put it that way. But also, they were a bit too insulated for my taste.
And he was glad to have them. That
yeah, but he
that
agreed. Yeah, but he agreed that they were a bit too much insulated as well.
Hey, Hike with Mike is here. Hi. I just want to catch up with some of the comments. Nate's having a Bavaria Premium Lager. Mark knows exactly where we were going. Grace, thanks for saying that. Look, if you guys are enjoying this little chat, then please hit that thumbs up. It helps me massively when dealing with the weirdo powers that be at YouTube. Okay, so Nate's weekends are Tuesday and Wednesday. That's good to know. I should have like a full-on interview with Nate at some point.
Good luck.
Yeah. In 2 weekends, Central Ohio Bushcrafters is having a gathering. Okay. I'll tell you something. I don't know about Ohio, but around here, I would not go to any gatherings right now.
Even if our numbers are way too low compared to pretty much everything in the US.
Our numbers are not great in a Canadian context. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Hike, what's going on, man? What's good? Taking any cool hikes lately? Brandon, I guess you're talking about if I wrangled Nate to come on for an interview. It's funny. I have all these people I want to. Let's take 4 seconds of silence for Eddie Van Halen, okay, guys? And most of you know that I'm in a band, and therefore I'm very sort of musically oriented. And even bands that I don't necessarily like, but I can respect, still have value to me. Like Rush, for instance. I've never been a big Rush fan, and I'm not going to waste the entire podcast live stream. I really want to do a podcast, so it's like popping into my head. But I just want to say, like, Van Halen and Eddie Van Halen is one of those bands that I was never. It's funny, like I never actively listened to, but so many of the songs that like something comes on the radio, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like they're one of those bands. They haven't like Fleetwood Mac, and in fact, I've re-entered a whole Fleetwood Mac phase because I realized like how many just solid killer songs that they've done over the decades, and that you never think about, but one of them comes on, you're like, oh yeah, man. So anyways, it's cancer.
Yep.
Cancer's not a good way to go, man. It's, I don't know.
He has been battling cancer for years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Hey, up north of 60s here.
Yep.
How's it going, mister? I would love to know what the temperature's like. Oh, how's about those northern lights that you were talking about last time we spoke? And by the way, to anyone who wants,
you mean you're speaking to up north or to me?
Yeah, no, to up north.
Okay.
There was some sort of a storm going on that was apparently creating epic northern lights. So after my live stream, he and Viv were going out to take some photos.
Yeah, there were some corona ejection from the sun.
Is that what is it?
Yep.
So Nate says he paddled to a path that leads up to a lookout that has a view of 3 lakes. Wow, nice.
Okay,
Yeah, I did not do that today.
Mark. Yes, now I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. Tenenbaum hits it. Even if you didn't like them, those were influential bands. Absolutely. And an influential band can be
Yep.
felt way beyond its own music. Like even these days, I'll hear some young some young starlet belting out a song, and I'll be like, man, you listen to a lot of Alanis Morissette as a kid, or you listen to a lot of whatever. And so like you got to respect influential bands, even if you didn't.
Van Allen was definitely one.
Yeah, and there's a lot of songs that when they come on, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this song. And I wonder how many of those songs I like because of when I discovered them, I was just in such an easier point in my life than it, like when you're young enough that the only thing you really worry about is whether or not you're getting an allowance and maybe there's a math test on Friday.
Oh, geez, that's been a
You know?
long time.
Yeah.
Because allowance were not a thing in my household.
Hmm. No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Hike. I don't think you're in any position to see the Northern Lights from Florida, but yeah, I've never seen them either, and I'm dying to. Absolutely.
I've seen them numerous times, like I
Yeah.
was saying last week.
No, never seen. Hey, Johnny Nash also died today. Man, it's funny because you think, like, I remember last year saying, man, a lot of people died this year, but a lot of people die. I mean, a lot of influential people kind of die every year. It's just, it feels like it's a big year when 4 of them go within 6 months or something.
And please get the well, Mark, Mark,
Mark.
Mark. No, the one right over.
Yeah, this one?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's resume. That's a very good recap of what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just taking a look. Yeah, Jonathan Milley says something interesting here, and it's true. A little sad when lesser-known celebrities get overshadowed by other events. That's true. That's very true, and it happens all the time.
It
Like
does.
if,
It does.
and we're so driven by celebrity news. Like, how many things went on in the world that got buried when like Prince died, or hey, how many? I'm just waiting for him to turn off his speakers. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
There you go, Serge.
Hey, Serge.
I
Hey,
didn't do it before. So.
Uh-huh. Is that a wireless headphone setup?
Yeah, it is.
That looks like a gaming headphone setup.
Actually, yes, it is.
That looks like better headphones than I've got. Actually, these ones are pretty good. These are Sennheisers. They're studio headphones though. So like there's no that's why I'm using this mic.
I'm sorry. I'm just sporting the
Logitech? Oh no, what are those?
Plantronics. These are my actually they're mainly intended to be used with phones, like for call centers. But this model supports also a USB connection for my PC and also a Bluetooth connection for my cell phone.
Yeah, I also got a new webcam here, so I'm like,
what did you get?
It's I don't know, it's some no-name thing I got on Amazon, so I'm like,
Okay.
Still,
I'm like, hey, heck, it works.
Up
So
north at 60's got a new webcam. Well, it's not a webcam, but his live streams are looking up and up. He's got some great equipment. What he says here is Northern Lights were amazing. Some of the best I've seen in all my years up here. I hope you got some good footage, man. I want to see that. Excuse me.
well, I still remember. I think it was like a good 20, 25 years ago. No, not 25, more like 20 years ago. I was visiting a friend. He was living in Laval at the time. His stepdad, and we had gone out to, I forget what we'd gone out to do, but we were just walking back.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what the hell is that? And there they were, like Northern Lights, but they're not exactly the same. Like it's not the curvy ones that you normally see. They're like almost like you could almost see it coming down towards the earth, you know. And it's just I'm like, those are like Northern Lights, but it's nothing that I've never seen before, and I've never seen any type like that again, you know.
Yeah,
I've seen some of those.
But it was like, it was amazing to see. It was like crazy.
Yep.
Are you drinking a Sleeman's?
Yes, I am. I'm drinking the dark Russ, or Russ dark. Sorry, it's not bad.
Dark red.
Dark red.
Yep. I like the darker beers, so
I do as well.
Well, red. I like the red ones.
I'm into reds, browns, darks.
I do too.
Yeah. The hell was I going to say? Yeah. So Serge, we should hit that. We should go to Saint Christine again soon.
Yeah.
ever.
Well, yeah. I might try to ask them to see if I could go down there with you. We probably have to go fully masked. We'll have a 2020 edition, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be allowed to leave the house. You know, I have to negotiate. And honestly, I'm kind of paranoid about the world right now. But
no, for sure. But that's why I mentioned it before. It's just like if we organize ourselves accordingly.
Yeah,
you know,
then maybe we can make it work.
Yeah, we can make. I mean, we often stop to go get something fresh at the local supermarket on the way there. If we don't do that, for example, you know, and we generally don't mingle too much with the owners. So, what harm could it do, right?
Yeah,
it's just you and I,
just us.
In the woods.
In the woods with the axes and the fires and the tarp and the enjoyment of life.
Ethan's
here.
Yep.
Ethan, come online. Tell us all about whatever the hell's happening in your life right now. Tell us about all the great outdoorsy stuff you're either doing or want to do. Oh, look at that cat. I do miss having cats.
I'm not.
But I don't miss not being able to breathe. So, hey.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Now, my problem with him lately is he's putting cat litter all over the freaking house. So it's driving me nuts.
Kill him with fire.
I think it's because of his little paws.
Yeah.
He's got like a lot of like fur between there. So it's driving me nuts. Anyway, goodbye, you.
I just have to say one thing here. Ethan, man, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
You know, I'm going freaking crazy.
I actually just dropped a video like 5 minutes ago on my channel.
Sweet. I'll go check that out. I mean, once we're done here.
Yeah, no, right now. I demand it right now.
Okay. Okay, bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
Yeah, I actually got to get out and I went on a backpacking trip. So, did a little video. It was for the same place I filmed my very first video, and it was the 3-year anniversary of it. So,
nice.
The guy I filmed it with, we went back to the same exact campsite and everything, and filmed a video, a weekend backpacking trip.
Yeah, because you've already retired your canoe, right? For the year?
Yeah, for the year, yeah. No, forever, yeah.
No. Okay, so it didn't retire. You put it on sabbatical until next spring.
Yes, it's on hiatus.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll check that out.
Right on.
The video that I put up on Friday. No.
Oh, I haven't got a chance to watch that yet.
Did I put it up on Friday?
No.
I put it up on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
I was gonna keep it till next Friday, but I just wanted it up and out. It's like the last of the footage I had from our camping trip back in August. I either haven't had time or I've just been honestly too run down to shoot anything lately. Got a little bit of my black dog going on, so it's hard to, you know.
No,
hard to do stuff.
I like it when you have you feature your kids in your videos. I find that Cody really
Isn't she a brat though?
Yeah,
Isn't she a
she's
brat? Like I'm standing there and talking,
Yeah,
it's like doot behind me, and I
Yeah,
didn't even
but-
notice until I was editing. I was like, okay,
but it's awesome. You used her to put your logo up and
Yeah.
everything, and no, but I like the fact that she's really into it, and
She's very into
it really complements your videos. You know,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I mean, I don't want all my videos to be family this videos, family that videos, because there are people who don't like that,
mhm.
you know, and so I'm trying to run a real sort of tight balancing act there. But you know, I hit the woods with my family, and I brought a camera, makes a
Sure.
video.
No, for sure, and but I find it's fun. It's fun to see her because you could tell that she really enjoys it, and you could see in her eyes, like whenever you guys going exploring and stuff, that she's like bewildered by it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's something an element of your videos that I do enjoy whenever she's on.
Yeah, and she's very exuberant about the woods, about stuff out there.
It's cool.
You know,
I don't think I'm going to put my kids in my videos until they reach the point in their life where they actually understand what YouTube is, like what I do on YouTube. Like they watch it all the time, but I don't know if they'd really understand what it's like to be in a YouTube video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to. But I've told this story like a million times. But the reason why she's in my videos at all is because it used to be that I'd be standing there in front of my camera, talking, and like I'd be partway through, and then he's like, "Hello." I'm like, stop. Take
course.
two. Yes, and but hello. And then, but it's like after 6 times of this, I'm running out of battery. So I'm like, okay, this is the take, no matter what the hell happens. And then I'd be doing it, and she'd be like dancing around in the back, and I just have to use it because at that point I had 1 battery, right? And so with that, she just sort of started to work her way on more and more. And now if I make a video without her, she gets pissed at me. Hey, Tyler's here. She's like, how come you're not? I'm like, because I'm trying to make videos for adults, child, with tools and axes and swearing and beer.
Minus the swearing.
And minus the swearing. I'm
I
trying to get remonetized.
forget about it.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's why, like, I like to have my family on sometimes, but not all my videos.
No, and that's fine, and but I do think that the fact that she enjoys it, it adds to it. So
yeah, she's very happy about it. She loves to, mook around for the camera. She wants her own channel, but we're sort of wait until you're 14 at least,
Mm-hmm. No, that's legit.
Yep. I noticed, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Simone put Avid Outdoorsy Guy's YouTube channel up there.
Appreciate it.
So just grab that and check it out after this live stream. You will not be sorry.
I don't understand why it shows that as my URL, because I definitely changed it to youtube.com/avidoutdoorsy-guy. So why does it show my old URL? I don't know why it does that.
Oh, dude, I have the same problem. I changed my URL about 30 seconds after starting my channel, and I still have that problem. So
because YouTube don't care.
No,
YouTube
they
don't care. YouTube don't give a shift.
Well,
I need to hit like a few 100,000
changed it.
subscribers before they take notice, I guess.
Yeah.
you both changed it only in your country of origin, but it's actually in Tanzania, both of you.
No. What? Why? What are you talking about?
So are you saying they have to move to Tanzania to change
Well,
it?
they just have to change YouTube's country of origin to Tanzania, and the URL will be okay.
Perfect.
Sure.
My head hurts. Never mind. I'm ignoring this.
I'm having a stroke.
Tyler, got anything you want to tell us about? You want to come on? You want to
I'm not
regale
gonna
us
hang out
all?
on here. I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
But come on, man, Ethan. You make every conversation better. You and
I
Nate.
know. I am just adorable. I know.
You're just so cute. You just
Maybe no.
Oh, I need to go work out. I really gotta. You can't force me to be on here. I need to work out. You're supposed to be hyping me up to work out.
Yeah, man, you got to do it. You got to work at it. You got to do those
There you go. That's what I need.
weights and stuff. Yeah, I work out too. But what I've discovered is that the more active I get, the more I have to eat to maintain my size.
Oh, yeah, I know you're right. I struggle.
gotta keep in shape. You know, that nice round
Yeah.
shape.
Pear
A
shaped.
round
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Spherical.
exactly.
I'm going out as a pumpkin for Halloween, so I got to make sure I maintain my.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I lost weight in the last I don't know, maybe 3-4 months. I lost about 15 pounds. I'm like,
Jeez. I went totally the wrong way. I'm almost 200 now. I have never been as heavy as I am.
I'm almost 300, so
Yeah, but you're taller than me at least.
I'm 5'11", not that hard.
Wow. I would take 5'11". I'm 5'7". Not that I want everyone out there to know how much of a shorty I am. Whoops.
or
All
how
right, guys.
chunky you
Gotta
are.
get out of here.
Yeah.
See you later.
All right. Have a good one, mister.
All right, have a good one.
Bye, then.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm here just to show that I'm actually here, that I'm not dead.
Yeah. Are you all settled into your new place? First of all, wait, before you answer that, I want to say, Tyler, get on here and tell us about your new camo and your cast iron seasoning and stuff. The thing about having Tyler on is he's always just done something kind of makery.
Yeah.
So, I don't have to be interesting for 10 minutes. So, he's a good resource to have around. So, yeah, you settled in right over there?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's just that some days I don't feel like doing some stuff because I know it's temporary. So,
Well,
Why is it temporary?
Because I don't plan to stay living here. I mean, Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu is far from everything.
Yep.
So I don't plan to stay here. I don't see how it will be sustainable. I'm actually thinking about buying an electric car just because I'm doing so much mileage at the moment.
Yeah. Hey, Dennis is here. How's it going, mister? As everyone might have noticed, I've just put up the link to get on again to regale us all with stories. Tyler's ignoring me, obviously.
And I agree with him.
Simo.
Come on, Tyler. Just come on.
Yeah, okay, Serge, I hadn't realized you would you were seeing your place sort of as a temporary, a landing pad to find something else.
Yeah, well, I did get some money from the house, and the plan is to try to buy something else later. So
Saving up.
Yeah, saving up, and I figured worst case scenario, I'll buy a plot of land and build a cabin.
And I will be on your front stoop in 30 seconds with an axe and saying, I'm going to help. What's left to do?
Yeah, no doubt.
You're gonna
All right, see you later. Up north of 60s out of here, so see you later, man. Nice to have you hanging out with us for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep.
Well, the big difference on my end is I'm back on the job.
Yep, you're back working.
Yeah, back working since yesterday.
Okay, Tyler will be on in a few. Dennis, if you want to come on, that would be amazing.
It's weird.
What, working?
I feel because I'm getting back at the former employer, and I feel like
I hadn't realized you were back with a former employer.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Actually, Simo, I have a quick question because I might have missed a few things in the last few weeks.
Well, you did.
Yeah, I did. Have you been working from home?
I'm working from home right now, but I've been unemployed since January, actually.
Okay.
So I had the long unemployment, then the emergency checks, and
I just
We've
want to
begun
say,
discussing back in March, and yeah, it's right now that things happen. So
Yeah.
so I just want to
Nate and
say
S,
welcome
Nate.
to
Yep.
Nate Muskoka. Nate, hi, Dennis. How's it going? Dennis, is that a? He's ignoring me.
Obviously,
He's
and
muted.
that's
No, it's
totally
fine.
fine.
Fine. Everyone's always ignoring me. My wife ignores me. My children ignore me.
What's
And now
that?
Dennis is ignoring me.
Sure.
Oh, I see.
you have time.
He's having a chat.
Sorry, wifey just got home and we're making birthday plans for my mom. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like a printed background behind you, or did you green screen something? I remember we've talked about this before, and I seem to remember it's a printed background, but
well, I'm up north and that's a holographic image behind me. No, it's printed.
it is printed. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I get it. Oh,
It's
you got
still
some
the
bottles. You
Columbia
got a
Bourbon
Knob
collection.
Creek. Is that Knob creek and Four Roses?
Knob Creek, 2 different types of Jim Beam and Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. Okay. I've never tried the Maker's Mark. It's funny because I've got
What then? Actually, that's what I'm drinking right now. So
I got a single malt here from Japan. I got
from Japan. Wow.
a Lechik 10. I got
Way
Classic Laddie
too
by
much
Bruichladdich.
alcohol.
the Classic Laddie. And I got an Aaron 10, the old bottle. None of these have been opened yet because, as some of these guys know, I'm thinking of maybe starting a Scotch and Fine Spirits channel. So I've been like not touching any of these, and it's so hard. It's so hard.
Do you know right there? You got almost my saving for retirement saving for a month.
No, none of these are $100.
Yeah, Mike.
None of them. Some of them are pretty bloody close, but none of them are $100.
Yeah. Oh, just put them together though, and
This was expensive. Japanese whiskey is too expensive. I mean, I'm not going to bore everyone with whiskey talk, but
You're not bothering us. We're just gonna mute you. That's it.
Yeah. How far ahead of that backdrop do you sit, Dennis?
Quite literally that far.
Because I got to do something
About-
about this room until I can like really build a studio. You know, I'm
About
throwing a
2
little
feet.
blue light in the back.
Funny thing is, Jess, like because I own a print shop, that's why I printed that, right? I figure I got to have a cooler backdrop than just my wall or a map on the wall or something.
Yeah.
And I printed that, and I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, StreamYard introduced green screen. And it's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Because then I've got a ton of great photos, right? And it'd be cool to swap them all out. But this fits. At least it gives me a brand, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nate, what's going on, man?
You know,
Stuff.
yeah, stuff. I made the best of the weather today, and I paddled across the front of a lake around here to a bit of a goat path that winds up to a lookout, and I'll post the photos tomorrow, but it might be my last time at this particular spot, unfortunately. But time
Like for this season or period?
Oh, I go once a year, and to this particular spot. And I think if you look at my photo tomorrow, you'll probably see why. It's just probably one of the best spots in this entire region to actually look out onto the fall colors that actually still involves a body of water.
Mm.
But yeah, there was a no trespassing sign up where I've never seen one before.
Oops.
Yeah.
Interesting.
New ownership, I guess.
Yeah. Now it was given other property markers that are along this part of the trail. it might indicate
A
kind
development.
of a no trespassing area to the left of where I was hiking up from. And so I'm kind of hoping that where I kind of bushwhacked through to avoid that area may have left me in the clear, but we'll see. We'll see.
What region are you in again, Nate? I forget.
I'm at the north end of Muskoka, so it's about
Okay.
3 hours north of Toronto.
Okay.
Muskoka is very hoity-toity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
They named a chair after it, you know.
Well,
Named a chair after it.
well, and does everybody know the difference between an Adirondack chair and a Muskoka chair?
I just thought an Adirondack chair was a misnamed Muskoka chair. But are you telling me there's an actual difference?
There is indeed.
Wait. For years I've thought. Okay. Okay, go.
I can see Ethan just like adjusting his earmuffs or whatever to just listen more closely.
I just want to say bye, Jonathan Millie. Thanks for hanging out with us again.
So an Adirondack chair has a flat back, whereas a Muskoka chair has a cupped or curved back to hold your back more,
More properly.
Ah,
More
Okay.
better.
I'll go to bed less stupid tonight.
Yeah, same with me. Holy
Yeah.
crap. Years. I was today years old when I learned that was not. Wow.
Yeah,
Man.
leave it to rich folk to create a difference in design that would lead to a name change for an entire realm of outdoor furniture, right?
Well, there's something that I have to say on this.
Go for it.
Muskoka is better than an Adirondack.
I have 2 words to say about this with this information I just learned. Holy shift. Hey, Mallory's here. Quebec Homestead is in the house. How's it going?
And actually I'm not at all bothered with stating that the Muskoka chair is Canadian and better than the Adirondack chair, which is American. Because
Hey,
we're
now.
all Canadian right now.
I was going to
It's
say,
like
it's easy to say that when the whole panel's Canadians, right?
Merci bien, Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, eh?
Not at all, eh?
No, I had so I've posted because I go up to this spot annually for the last, I think, probably 4 years, and post a photo, and I've had I continually have people asking me where it is, of course, but because it's on property that I'm unsure of the intent of the owners as to its usage,
Yeah.
I refuse to share its location. Like Ontario Travel, so the provincial Ontario Travel Instagram feed is shared at once, and that brought me some attention. But I've held fast in my refusal to
talk about
its
it.
location. Yeah.
Because I just happen to have a map right here.
Well, good luck. But this was, and it's a curious area where I pull up my canoe where you can tell the property divides itself in 2 or 3 different areas. There was just one area on the left that had this fairly fresh no trespassing.
But I just want to say, like Campy Makers, but on the other side of the sign, it didn't say anything.
Well, yeah, I don't mean to be so cavalier about it, but there were other property markers in a linear line behind that particular no trespassing sign, which was fairly new to me. And so I basically made a good point to arc away from those markers to make sure that I wasn't on the other side of where I saw those, no trespassing signs, and then the markers in the bush. So we will I don't know, we'll see. but it's one of these magical places where I was literally sitting up there for an hour today, and you can watch the Blue Jays and Ravens fly underneath you. And I literally, I had a turkey vulture buzz my lookout within about 15, 20 feet because he was probably wondering,
what the hell are you doing there?
Yeah, exactly. What the hell am I doing there? And
Nice.
this time of year, as you can imagine, the colors, even though they're fading substantially, the colors are just unbelievable.
Spectacular.
You've got that kind of view, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get that.
I actually got pictures from Saint Christine, where we go.
Yeah.
And at this very moment, it's freaking gorgeous up there.
I bet.
Or down there. Anyway.
Yeah, Nate and Dennis, where we go in Saint Christine, it's friends of Serge's who own a. Yeah, because we're not going to say who they are. Or where they
yeah,
are.
exactly. No,
they own a craft. What the hell is the term for this in English? Sugar shack.
Sugar shack.
Yeah. So
Cabana sucre.
yeah, a cabana sucre, but not the cheesy one where the tourists go and eat the big meal. It's like all it is the equipment and their cabin.
Cool.
And a funk ton, as the kiddies don't really say, of maple trees all around.
Yeah, I think it's 28 acres that they have.
Nice.
So I mean, I've bought their maple syrup before, and it's just as good as any other that you would find in the stores. Delectable as true maple syrup is. True Quebec maple syrup.
And actually, it's pretty damn good.
So I'll just have to, and I know you folks in Quebec might be in a bit of a different bubble right now, but the forecast, and I'm speaking more to, I don't know, the forecast for Thanksgiving looks like we're going to be given a bit of a reprieve in weather to maybe prolong the camping or tripping season. Is anybody planning on getting out there Thanksgiving weekend or just after? Because the weather around this area anyways looks perfect.
Well, here's how it works, Nate. Montreal, Quebec City, the Lanaudière, and somewhere else.
Well, let's just say the Greater Montreal
have been
Quebec City.
Yeah, we got red zoned, so the government has suggested that we don't leave the red zones and go into orange or yellow zones because of. And in fact, here's the thing: when the premier was giving this, while he was giving the update and announcing that we were all red zoned, on the map, on the on-screen map, the last parts of Quebec that were green switched yellow. So the entire province is COVIDed right up the wazoo. The government strongly suggests that I don't leave the red zone.
But what
we're going to blow the bridges, so.
Yeah.
They just finished building one.
What if Dennis and I send a chopper?
You know what's funny? I have a brother who's a
we just get
helicopter
the
pilot.
chopper and fly up there.
Yeah.
Get to the chopper.
No.
You won't be able to land in Montreal, but you can land here in Longueuil. That's fine.
You know, did I ever say this on this channel? Like, I have a brother who's a helicopter pilot in the Canadian Forces, and my dad and his wife live in Penticton, and they've got a really small airport. Okay, like tiny. And Tyler, I'm in the middle of telling a story, so don't be too interesting quite yet. And so Greg called my dad and his wife and said, I'm going to be coming through. I'm going to be doing some snowboarding around there. On Tuesday, one of my buddies from work is going to fly into the airport and hand you my snowboard. Okay. So at the appointed time, my dad and his wife went to the airport, and they're standing there. And I'm not bullshitting when I say that it is a really small airport. And so they're standing there, and security guys, the one security guy says, "So what's going on?" They say, "Oh well, a friend of my son's is going to come, and he'll land, and pass us a snowboard. And the guy was like, Jigga what? And while the security guy is like questioning them about this, they hear like whoop, 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 and this Canadian Forces helicopter comes, lands. One of the guys jumps out with a snowboard under his arm, runs over, opens the door, says, Mr. Corbet? He says, yep. Here you go. And he runs back to the helicopter. And the security guy's like, what? And I just like, could you imagine doing that at Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport? Hell no, right? But when you're in that small a town, you've got all kinds of different situations, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
We often over Algonquin Park. There's often there's a Canadian Forces base in Petawawa.
Sure is.
And we often do a whole bunch of aerial maneuvers over Algonquin Park.
Yeah.
Which, unless you know about them, if you were camping in the interior of the park and saw a whole bunch of
helicopters,
or no, they do the big guys. They do the C4s or C140s,
C130s,
C130s. Yeah, and they'll
these are airplanes. The cargo aircraft, the Hercules.
Yep.
Yeah, but they'll fly very low over the park. I remember on Opeongo a couple of years back paddling across Opeongo, and these planes are these huge, massive planes are flying really low over these lakes. And I would just guess that if maybe this was your first time interior camping in the park, you would maybe think that
it wasn't for you.
Because you had no cell service, maybe the world is ending. You know?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
seriously. Didn't Mark in the Park have a good shot of that?
Yeah, that's right.
Who did?
Yeah.
Mark in the Park.
Watch through the Mark in the Park videos, there you'll see a good scene with the. I think it's in the highlight of in the highlight reel, leading up to the beginning of the show, of every show.
Okay.
Well,
the intro shot. Yeah.
Mark in the Park.
They come in so low and close, like your canoe will vibrate. Like they're that close down to the water. These huge giant planes. They're just doing maneuvers, but like if you didn't know that there was a base in Petawawa and that these are Canadian military craft just doing maneuvers, like I don't know what you would think. Like if you're just out there all of a sudden.
Especially if you're like my generation, right? You grew up on films like Red Dawn, and you know, like.
Yeah. Be like all of a sudden, Red Dawn is happening on your camping trip. Away you go. Yeah.
Tyler, what's up, man? What's good?
Oh my God, lots of stuff. So, for anyone who's ever been a part of a home-owned small business, you know that there are weird pockets of absolutely nothing, and then weird pockets where people just start wanting you to do everything.
Yeah, yes. I spent 20 years as a freelancer. I know that well.
Yeah, it was weird. P.S. I'm not even set up for boot making yet, but in the space of 1 week, I shipped 2 pairs of boots to Tennessee, got a request to make a pair of boots, got a request to alter a pair of boots, got a request to make a leather journal, and got a request to make historical garments.
I'd like to point out that if ever a conversation starts with, by the way, I'm not really set up to make boots yet. You know, there's something like makery coming down the pipe.
Okay,
well, that's good.
Gotta take off the uniform glasses. They're fun, but they're messing with my head.
I was just gonna say, Tyler, and it looks like you're doing all this from inside the Matrix.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
I wish I had like a pair of Advils or something to offer you. It'd
be
funny.
A green, blue one and a red one, right?
Good.
The blue one puts you to sleep, and the red one keeps you awake. So.
Maybe we should microdose ourselves on the air.
Okay.
But that's cool. A lot of work is better than no work. Am I right?
Yeah, no kidding. But now that I'm not working as a handyman.
Mm.
Time's gonna get a little stretched, but that's okay. Today I did the winter seasoning for the cast iron because it hasn't been used in forever, and we made the mistake of not oiling it before we put it away after some
Oh,
cooking of
Oh,
tomatoes.
no.
So it was quite rusty. Tomatoes and cast iron don't really get along.
ooh.
Why? How did you make that mistake? I love Dennis's face right. He's like, "Oh, dude."
I'm looking at Mark Pootman's comment there. Vibrating canoes, Nate likes.
No, there's a reasonable explanation. Nick's sister was here for something. I think she was just on a visit, and we cooked, and then she wanted to go do something else. And as we all tell ourselves, like, "Oh, I'll go do it later," and then you don't do it later, and then you wash it off, and you think you've got it done because it's just sitting out of sight, out of mind. You put it away, and then, well,
Next thing you know,
a few months
Nope.
later, oh look, my pans are orange.
yep.
So I did that today, but no, it wasn't bad. They're black to black, whatever.
Black to black.
You know what I mean. They're
I
back
know
to
what you
black and all shiny, and
Shiny
they
good.
induce happiness when I look at them again, so it's okay.
That's the magic of a well cared for piece of cast iron. Am I right?
Yeah, it's good. And the other thing is, I know I can fix it. Like if you mess up a nonstick pan, you're done.
Yeah, like a Teflon garbage
Yeah,
pan.
that
Oh,
thing's garbage at that point.
Yeah,
But,
as soon as it starts flaking off, it's like, you know what? I don't want that in my food.
Forget
like,
about
there's
it.
something not appetizing about Teflon in your intestines, you know.
Yes, I do know.
But no, we had a trip to Mayo. It was well, it's mirrored. Oh, that's so much worse. Never mind.
Is
not
that
gonna
like
do this.
Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula?
Yeah, this is Michigan thing. We use the mitten, so we're like here-ish.
You can't say mitten because if you've ever watched Letterkenny, you know what a mitt is. And this isn't the family show, but I'm trying to get remonetized.
Okay, fingerless glove-shaped object here. We're here. Mayo's like way up here, so we're in, like Hiawatha Forest territory, and the colors change about 2 weeks earlier up there than they do here. So we hung out on the Osable River where they used to float logs, so it's all mixed, conifers and hardwoods, and it's just bursting with color up there, man.
Mm.
We spent 4 days. We slept in a cabin with my grandparents, and
Nice.
wood heat. I forgot how much I
even
loved
better.
wood heat.
I love wood heat.
That's like the cherry on top, man. But
it's funny, Tyler, because I've spoken about this in one previous live stream, I think. You know how like with electric heat, the heat is just static.
Oh yeah.
The heat's coming, it's the same. But with wood heat, it kind of, do you know what I'm saying? It almost flickers on you. Like it feels hotter here than.
There's something alive about the house.
It's organic. It's sort of the heat moves.
Something alive about the house outside of the static shocks.
Well,
Fair.
I grew up on wood heat, where our only source of heat where I grew up until I was about 12 was wood.
Wow.
And so yeah, there's definitely a feel to wood heat, and I distinctly remember going to bed very, very warm and waking up sometimes very, very cold because, of course, depending on the size of your stove and depending on the size of the house, that stove needs to be stoked, once to twice a night to keep it going at a certain rate where it's actually going to keep a static temperature through the course of 8 or 10 hours. The heat that emanates from it is wonderful, but as a child, I remember I definitely remember waking up on some mornings in January and February feeling a little cold, because no matter how many logs you threw in that fire at 2 or 3 in the morning, by the time 8 a.m. rolled around, well, you're starting to feel it, that's for sure.
Well, and here's a question, and I do want to point out what Black Dog says. Wood heat pulses through the cast iron plates. I think the word what I was looking for was pulsing, but I did just drink a 750 ml beer at 6%, so I think I'm doing okay comparatively here. But yeah, it's like it's like a pulsing and a flickering, like wood heat moves in an organic way. But Nate, I wanted to ask you, if you grow up with, because to me, all this stuff is kind of exciting, right? Wood heat is exciting because I didn't grow up with any of this, right? I grew up poor ass urban. So
Well,
like everything that that I'm so into came later in my life. So I didn't grow up making kindling for my dad for the fire or anything like that. And so does it rob you of a little bit of the enjoyment?
that's a good question, Jess. So if you grew up urban poor, I grew up rural poor. And so moving on from that, everything felt easier. But I wouldn't say I have. You know what? I have very fond memories of the way I grew up and the way my parents continue to live. I really respect that a lot. It's just a lot more work, so it makes me feel in my current lifestyle in mine and my partner's location, it makes me feel a whole lot lazier, really. I remember getting off the bus after school, and part of my everyday chores was to split wood for a half hour or an hour.
Now, was this after walking to and from school in 6-foot snow uphill both ways?
No.
I just want to make sure we're the same age group here, because
we had bus service, but just given all the stops, the commute to and from school was an hour.
How far was the school?
The schools, if you're driving there straight by car, it'd probably be about a half hour. But given the way everybody needs to stop and drive off on a rural school bus route, if school got out at 3:15, I would be lucky to be home by 5.
Wow. Okay, what's going on here? What's happening here, Dennis?
Pardon?
View time, buddy. View time.
Oh my God, Dennis! Suddenly you're my hero.
That's hilarious.
I do that with Chickadee and Honeybee Rustic Works channel sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, Dennis, how did you grow up with wood heat, or did you grow up?
No, always just grew up with the forced air gas or hot water heating, or back in my early days, I remember being a kid and leaning back against one of those sit in the middle of the room gas furnaces. The ones that would sit in the middle of a living room.
But you didn't
pipe coming out of them.
Yeah.
I remember burning my back on one of them as a little toddler. That's probably one of my first memories. But,
I've read somewhere, or maybe I heard somewhere, that your first memories are almost always traumatic because that's what sort of kicks the memory thing into being. I don't know if that's true or not, but that certainly seems to fit with my experience. But yeah, we used to have one of those sort of gas heaters as well that sort of sat there with the pipe coming out the front, out the top. And the thing is, we moved around a lot when I was a kid, a lot of different apartments. But that's the one that I remember the most. And I remember I had a hamster once and I dropped it and it got injured. And I nursed it back to health by creating a little nest for it on this heater so it would be nice and warm. And I just nursed it back to health in this little nest.
Did you eat it 3 days after?
No. No, but it's a weird one because I have almost no memories of before like my mid-20s. It's just like little like moments and impressions more than real solid memories. But that one I've really gotten I remember the exact shade of brown or light brown that thing was.
Huh.
But yeah, it was
That's a really rich, vivid way of putting that. I feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Just the not proper memories things, but the little moments and flashes of stuff.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, it makes me
I can-
think. Because back at my parents, they had a fireplace, and we used to. I think my parents made a fire like maybe once or twice a year. It wasn't very often, and but I vividly recall, like, almost every fire we made. And I remember when we bought the house that I lived in for the past 8 years. It had a fireplace. I'm like, sold. It's like, I liked the location, I liked everything, and it had a fireplace in the living room. And for me, that was like a big thing. And even though I might have not done a whole lot of fires during the winter in that fireplace, we still had the outdoor fireplace in the backyard, which we did have a significant amount of fires in that outdoor fireplace as well. So I think no matter where I want to go live after, it's
You want a fireplace?
yeah, I want a fireplace. That's why, like, some people are saying, "Oh, go in Longueuil or something like that." I'm like, no, you're not allowed to make fires there. No.
On top of, why the hell would you want to be in Longueuil?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story. But work-wise, it'd probably be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need that fireplace.
Yeah, I will say, as cold as I might have woken up as a youth at 6 or 7 in the morning from wood heat only, before in the evening after dinner when that fire in that cast iron Fisher stove was roaring hot, and you had the dog laying next to it and the cat laying next to it, and everyone kind of in a semicircle or reading books around it. Those are some of my fondest memories of me growing up.
Man, I'd be lying on that ground, snuggled with the dog.
Oh yeah,
Those are-
it's funny how cats and dogs get like this. It's almost like you would think the heat was just cooking their brains, but they just
They
love
love it.
that emanating heat from that
Yeah.
fire, and they just stoke it up like a solar panel or something. I don't know, but some of my favorite memories are as a youth growing up with just wood heat is sitting on a couch, reading a book and the pets and my siblings and my parents are around that emanating heat from the wood stove. And we also had no television until I was, I think, about 13 years old. There was no television in my house. So, that wood fire semicircle post dinner gathering, even if it was almost in total silence, is something I'll always remember really, really fondly.
That's
The idea of,
so simple too, eh? Like you
Yeah.
think back before the days of cell phones,
Yeah.
right? Computers, life was so simple.
yeah.
And things now are just
It's funny that you say that about silence, Nate, because when I was a kid, I mean, we didn't have a TV until I was maybe about 9 or 10, so it's not quite as old as you, and it was one of those black and whites that of course the knobs were broken, so of course you needed needle nose pliers, because everyone of a certain generation knows exactly what the hell I'm talking about. But like, we were avid readers. We all read a lot of books, and so we spent a lot of evenings in silence. But these days it's funny. Like, I think it's because the situation right now is playing with my head a bit. But it used to be that I would find it impossible to be in a bad mood if my kids were running around and giggling and laughing. And these days, all I want is for everybody to shut up. I just want like 30 seconds of silence, because it never bloody happens, And I get really grumpy about it. And so when you're talking about just sitting there and like nobody's saying anything, that sounds heavenly to me. Because also, these days the TV is always on. Some households have it on even if nobody's paying attention, right? It's on in the background, blinking. Drives me funking bonkers.
Do you know there's something that you need to procure yourself over the next days?
Log cabin. 30 acres. Yeah, no, I've got some.
I've got a pair of those. Those are the work ones that Bluetooth
Yep.
into things.
Yep, I got
Yeah, the
those
one
too.
that I
I love those.
does miracle.
Although log cabin would be way cooler,
Hell
admittedly.
yeah, 30
Yes.
acres. I don't even know what
But
acres
those
are.
are-
I just said
These
30
are 60
hectare.
bucks.
I mean, a log cabin could be $0 in a year and a half in time.
Yeah.
It just depends.
You know,
I don't think it'd be $0, but
you
pretty
know
down.
what
Nah,
I
you've
This
got
is
a
always
tool.
instant. This is instant gratification for 60 bucks.
You know
Or-
what I
which is
like always,
funny because this is also instant gratification for $60.
yeah,
The man has priorities.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. You know what I
Yeah.
like, and you know, I don't have kids, so, but you know what I always like about being with my dog or with the other pets or with the other pets around, or it's just like whatever you're doing, if you're being quiet, 9 times out of 10, you know, my dog is more than happy to be just as quiet as I am, and actually, you know, seems to enjoy that kind of quietude. And
Yeah.
so it's always, you know, it makes going for a walk or whatever, even if you do it in those small kind of shortened moments that you have to yourself, that kind of reciprocal silence with whoever else you have in your household.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. It goes a long way. It's peaceful.
And it's funny because I have this thing that I think about a lot. Is that I have this thought experiment that I do a lot. It's like take $400. Take 400 years. I don't know where I got dollars from, except for the fact that that's probably about how much this scotch is worth right next to me. Take like 400 years off of today's date. Okay. So what's the soundscape that you live through? During the day, yeah, fine, but at night, because where I am, you know that sort of, you guys all know, you know, you're watching a movie and the guy's from New York, so he goes to like Alabama or something where it's silent at night, so he's got a tape with like New York traffic on it so he can sleep, kind of thing, right? Like when I used to go hunting out in it was at La Maqueza, so it was technically about halfway between La Maqueza and La Belle, I think.
Which
Okay.
is in the upper portion of the Laurentide.
Yeah, it's in Laurentians, but up. It was quiet there, man. It was quiet because when hunting season, as you guys, even if you're not hunting, you've been out in the woods in October and November, right? It's so much quieter than it is in June or July, right?
For sure.
Because your
Yeah.
geese are gone, a lot of the birds are gone.
Yeah, because we send them to US.
Yeah, totally. You know, send all the Canadas down so they can piss someone else off for a change. But like, it's so quiet at night, and
So-
you know, here it's not.
Has anybody else, and I'm sure other people, you know, I'm sure all of you have experienced this at one point in time where you've left a busy area and you're out in the wilderness, out on a trip, and maybe you're trying to listen to nothing a little too hard, and the silence is so real that your ears ring because of the silence. Has
Yep.
anybody else had that happen to them where the silence is so, you know, surrounding that your ears actually kind of sort of ring from the silence?
Well,
Never experienced that.
Actually, you know, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because I kind of noticed it just in my apartment after the temperature dropped and I unplugged the freaking air conditioning.
Oh yeah, so suddenly that isn't there anymore.
Yeah, and then at night it's like I hear nothing, you know,
Black
except
dog.
for my freaking cats. But but yeah, the first night or two, it was like, yeah, I could like hear nothing.
Yeah.
Especially when I had nothing else running, like let's say the refrigerator wasn't compressing or whatever. It was completely silent in the apartment. It's like,
Mm.
it was weird, you know?
But like,
I have.
no, you go.
Now, Dennis, you
Yeah.
must like up in Temagami. You must have had that where you're kind of standing around at night and the fire has been put out and you're maybe about to go to bed, and there's nothing. There's no traffic. There's no background noise. There's
Yeah.
a twig snapping, but other than that, like if you look at the expanse of the lake and you have your ears tuned, like it's almost the silence is deafening, I think is the word.
The only thing I hear out there when it's like that is my tinnitus.
So Dennis always has a friend.
You're just, but no, you know what? You're right. You get them clear nights where you're just staring at the stars, and it could be a calm night where there's not even a ripple on the water, so you haven't even got wave noise, and all you hear maybe is the crickets.
All right, I've got my quote on silence.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
It's my side of the mountain, for those that are wondering. I can only say that after living so long with birds and animals, that the movement of a human is the difference between the explosion of a cap pistol and a cannon. So being out in like November and October, where most of the things going around are animals,
Yeah.
it feels like I get done listening to my own walking noise and I get to my stand or my blind or whatever I'm doing. I sit down for a few minutes at camp and I realize just like, damn, I'm loud.
Sorry.
And you sit and let the silence kind of melt into your mode of trying to stay in the woods. Because for me, it's like a whole different mental space.
Mm-hmm.
It always seems like the first 10, 15 minutes I'm out there, I'm just kind of letting the excitement bleed off. And then once I actually have a chance to listen to how quiet it is, then I don't know, I don't want to be cheesy, but like become one with the woods, I guess.
Come on.
I think the classic juxtaposition there is that you can listen all day to the squirrels and chipmunks rustling in the leaves and think they're entirely quiet until it's 2 a.m. and the same chipmunk or squirrel is rustling in the leaves and it sounds like a bull moose or a bear. And then that way you realize the next day when you're walking somewhere through some rustling leaves how probably extremely loud you are to everyone else around you in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a deer mouse becomes a grizzly bear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, another thing that makes me think of, which ironically my brother's online watching this evening, we had gone up to a friend's cabin, their hunting cabin. It's like it's freaking up north, like 4 hours from Montreal. It's north of Ottawa. Anyway, it's really, we had no cell reception, nothing, So for that, it was nice. But he said that he'd rather sleep in the living room where there's the heater, because there's a propane heater, and it's not because of the heat, but because of the light it gives off. Because he lives out in the freaking middle of the island of Montreal, like I think he's Crémazie, and anyways, he's close to the 40, So being that deep in urban Montreal, there's light everywhere. So for him to be in one of the bedrooms where it's like pitch black, he can't stand it. He's like, he doesn't feel comfortable. And I understand, when you're living in Montreal, there's like light pollution everywhere. So it's like even if you close all the lights and close the blinds and everything, there's always some ambient light.
There's
Up
so
north,
much light that even on a full moon, you can see it.
yeah. But all that to say is that like up there's like no light, you know.
Sounds
And
heavenly.
yeah, for me, I had no problems. He's like, "Do you mind sleeping in the room?" I'm like, "I don't mind." You know, it's like I'm fine with it. But he wasn't capable just because of his current living environment. You know, he just can't fall asleep in the pitch black. So I was like, "Fine, give it to me." You know, I'll go sleep in the dark for sure. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't mind at all. But that's
That's
all.
very
It just makes me think of the sound, the fact that you don't hear any sound, you don't see any light. It's when you're not accustomed to it, it could be very what's the word I'm looking for?
unsettling.
Unsettling.
Yeah. Yeah. It can really throw you for a loop if you're. Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny. I have very, very fond memories of whenever I go up north somewhere like that. One of the first things I look forward to on the first probably couple of nights is waiting until the sun is, all the way set and just looking up and looking at how much of the sky I can actually see now
Yeah.
that there's no light, just
Absolutely.
ruining that view for me.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually disappointed when we had gone up to that cabin because there was a lot of fog. So I was hoping to see the summer night sky, and or late summer night sky, but whatever. And the next day, well, I think we had rain and well, it was cloudy most of the day. So it's like I didn't get to see the stars whatsoever. So
Bummer.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
the,
like
the
you had
Milky the Milky Way this past September was, if you got a clear night, it was and you're in
Yeah.
the right area. The Milky Way was incredible.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
Montreal's not the right area. In Montreal, the Milky Way is like a smudge,
Yeah,
just a slightly lighter smudge across the sky.
yeah, I'm really, really fortunate to be where we are, where light pollution is thankfully a part of our bylaw system, and in particular, like our house is way up on a hill, so the patch of woods in behind our house leaves us clear from the light pollution of town just slightly below.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like you got a really rough life out there. Just God.
Yeah, you like your Saturday, Sundays off with the rest of the world, don't you, Jess?
Hell yeah. But you know what? For a long, long time, I didn't have those either. When I was, you guys know I was like freelance forever. But even during a darker part of my life, I worked at an organic grocery store. And the idea of a weekend, forget about it. So yeah, I get it with. But here's the thing: like I want every day to be part of my weekend. Like I don't want to, have 9 to 5, 5 days a week. I want to have the freedom to just hit the woods whenever I want, or like, yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
Are you just
I'm
giving
reading,
the standard lament of work sucks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
and the thing is, work doesn't suck for me. I have a very good job.
Where we can all hold up our hands and we can all do the same thing.
It's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Actually, one of the coolest experiences I had in this neighborhood is one of my best friends got married and his wife is German. This was about 5 years back, and a whole bunch of her German friends who lived in very urban areas of Germany, mostly right around Berlin. They all flew over for this wedding, and they're all kind of like in their mid-20s and very urban, kind of social, urban kind of hipster German people. Uh, and after the wedding reception, which was held quite close to our house, in my drunken, exuberant state, I managed to talk them into a hike into the woods and behind our house, which leads to this meadow, which opens up into the night sky. And it just so happened to be in kind of mid-September, and I managed to troop them all back there. And on a clear night, when you could see the Milky Way, and if you stood there long enough, you could see all this, all these stars that ran through the Milky Way, and none of them had ever seen the Milky Way before.
Oh man!
Wow.
And so, after standing there for about 10 minutes, basically, they were, blown away. Like, these were people that had never seen the Milky Way before in real life. They'd seen pictures of it or posts of it or whatever, and they had never they know what the Milky Way was, but they'd never actually seen the Milky Way in their whole life. And there they were at about 1 a.m, all standing there all together, looking up and actually seeing the Milky Way for the first time, and it was unbelievable. It was,
So in your drunken exuberance, you gave them something that some of them are probably still talking about now.
yeah, I hope so. One of them is like a very well-known kind of German broadcaster in Berlin that works for a TV station that has like tens and tens of thousands of followers. So I hope if I give him any kind of impression of Canada, it was probably a good one after that he's sharing with the world. I don't. He does all his posts in German, of course, so I don't know what he's saying to people, but he and his partner were absolutely blown away that they were able to walk up this hill from this wedding reception from their best friend, and here they were looking at the Milky Way for the first time in their entire lives.
Yeah.
It was incredible. One of my favorite memories for sure.
Now, you and Dennis live pretty far from each other, right? Because Dennis, you live down near Niagara.
It takes me, if I go up Nate's neck of the woods, I'm there in about 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And have you guys ever gone? I was going to say biking together before. What? Have you guys ever gone paddling together before?
No, we haven't done paddling together. We've talked about it, but we have met a few times on a couple of occasions. Yeah, I try to stop at his workplace.
Right.
Dennis has popped in the store a few times, and unfortunately, we haven't had the chance to go paddling together or camping or anything. But there's still some months left in the camping year, that's for sure.
Yeah. If it don't happen here in the paddling season, it'll happen in the winter season, I think.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. Talking to Martin actually tonight, he was on the show.
Nice.
Right.
So we'll have to do a little igloo camping, perhaps.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's a series I would watch.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. What's the name of that thing that when you dig a place out of a little snow hill? Is it a Quincy? No.
Quincy? Yeah.
I see Quincy's and I think, wow, great idea. But because I'm claustrophobic and I have this wicked fear of them sort of crashing in on me and me being buried under snow, I don't think I could do a Quincy, but I could probably do an igloo.
I think if you can get over your fear in an igloo, a Quincy done right would give you that same kind of security. There's lots of different ways you can make sure to, there's lots of different ways you can gauge the thickness of a Quincy wall all the way you go around it, much like you would with an igloo. But I definitely know what you mean. There's a different kind of structure and a building environment that goes around a Quincy versus an igloo. But
yeah, it's a different feel. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I think once I've stayed in a Quincy once overnight, and I think what gave me the most security is after you kind of glaze the inside. It really does feel quite secure. So unless there was something crazy to happen on the inside of that Quincy while while you were sleeping,
Right.
you probably have a pretty sound structure if the walls are the same thickness of the way around, and
Yeah.
you're not continuing with a fire inside or anything. But
Mm.
I think Martin's probably the better expert on that for sure.
I hadn't thought about the glazing effect you'd get, because after a while it starts to kind of compact and get a little wet, and then it refreezes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting question from Black Dog here to those of you who've been out winter camping a lot. What temp rating of sleep do you bag? Okay, just read it.
Negative 35 if I can get it. That's Fahrenheit.
Yeah. I've actually done the Quincy camping once years ago at Mule Lake, actually in Algonquin. We got there and we were going to tent camp it, or like cold tent it, and somebody had already dug a Quincy out of a snow pile that the plow pushed up. So we decided to camp in there, and the first night, very unsettling. Same thing you're talking about, Jess, is like just that fear that this thing is going to cave in on us.
Yeah.
The next day we were walking on top of it, and it was like a brick, right?
Wow.
And the next night I slept really good until the glazing effect, and I was all in my mummy bag, all done up, right? And the only thing you can see is this here, and I'll be damned if a drop of water didn't fall right between the frickin' eyeballs. your hands are all done up inside your mummy bag, right? So how do you do it? So you just roll over, kind of let it run off onto your cheek, right? But second night was a lot better sleep than the first night was.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. You know what the pine martens are like at Mule Lake, right? Like they got quite a few pine martens in there, not to be confused with Martin Pine marten, but the actual animal. My buddy and I, we went out for a day hike on one of the trails over in Algonquin. And when we got back, and this guy is like meticulous about his equipment. He had all brand new stuff, and he crawls inside the Quincy and he starts cussing and swearing, and he's like freaking right out, right? Well, a pine marten had gone inside of the Quincy and crapped all over his brand new sleeping bag, right? He was just cussing and swearing. You could see the pine marten tracks going in and pine marten tracks coming back out in the fresh snow, right? But yeah, Steve kind of freaked right out on that one. Didn't even touch my bag.
Yeah.
That would have made me seething angry.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those that aren't familiar, I mean, pine martens in this particular area of Algonquin Park are, they're they might as well be like a squirrel crossed with a raccoon. That just loves getting into your garbage, your sleeping bag, your car, your tent. So unfortunately, they've been kind of like in this particular area that Dennis is talking about. They've been trained to look for human food, and that's often what ends up happening. Is they're very curious, dexterous creatures that are more than happy to go and check out your tent or yurt or Quincy when you're not around.
Right.
Yeah, better his bag than mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
The man
That's
speaks
funny.
truth.
I wonder why it was his and not yours.
Oh, well, mine's blue. His is bright red, so who knows?
Ooh, that brings a story from the Appalachian Trail that made me all sorts of angry. We have big rules about not having food in trail shelters. So because the Smoky Mountains have been protected for a while now, we have like loads of black bear that hang out around there, because the Great Smoky Mountain National Park isn't ginormous, so there's enough movement of the bears to where they can go out into normally inhabited areas, get food, and then shelter in the park. And the problem is, like Nate was saying, they know to look for human food. They know the smells. They know what it's like. And it's easy. So I was hiking the Appalachian Trail with my Aunt Tammy one year, and we had gotten probably 16 miles into a 25 mile hike, I think. And we were just going to stay the night at a place called Tri-Corner Shelter. And we had our food made and got everything back up in our bear bag. And you put it in a roll top bag and you throw a line over what's basically a 40-foot, cross beam, and you pull the thing down and you leave it there for the night. We went to bed, and probably about 3 or 4 a.m., this dumbass pulls out. Sorry, Jess. A less than intelligent gentleman pulls out a bag of Doritos and starts like crunching. And dude,
Next thing you know, bear hug.
Is it the bear or someone of you that killed him?
it was several of us that wanted to kill him, and we're like, we could hang him here. There's the equipment. Wouldn't be too hard. We could pack him out. I mean, piece by piece, right?
You got the cheesecloth, right?
I mean, all you got to do is pull the teeth, and they're not going to figure out who he is.
Oh God, Tyler, stop.
That's true, eh, Tyler?
I don't want to be in this conversation.
No,
Don't forget to cut the fingers.
oh God.
And the nose.
We should not be allowed to live stream with Jess ever.
No.
What's for supper tonight? Dumbass burgers.
There's not a lot of things that make you really want to punch someone in the head and tell them to never come back, but that's one of them.
Actually, there's a lot of stuff that makes me want to.
Oh no, not I don't get into punch in the head, never come back territory easily. But I'll tell you, it went from being a very calm night to holy shift, we might all be bear tacos because this moron. Because walking in earlier that day, you hear rustling and deep growling, and you're like, oh shoot, this could be a mom and cubs or some other hungry, angry bear, and you just start whacking your sticks and shaking your bear bell like mad and hope that the bear doesn't get curious about you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feed the wildlife, I guess, is the moral of that story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it happened to me once at the I think it was one of the last time I went to camping in Oka. And for those of you who don't know, Oka is a pretty it's not out in the woods. It's like, it's on the outskirts of Montreal.
On the outskirts.
Suburbs. Well, it's in the suburbs of Montreal. There you go.
It's like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not far.
Okay, it's not far.
It's not far. But anyway, just to say that, like Oka Park, you have like hundreds of people camping there?
Yeah.
It's not like a little campground. So I'm like, I'll leave the food in my tent. And what a mistake, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Nature Valley granola bars. It's not a paid endorsement.
Not a paid endorsement, thank you.
But I still remember the brand, and it was,
the brand that got away in a bear's mouth.
Sealed box in my bag. I think I actually had a bag within the bag for my food.
Just for extra safety, right? Because that'll stop the bears.
Exactly, and they're all individually packaged in plastic, and the tent's closed and everything. And it was probably a raccoon.
Because the tent is great at stopping right there.
Yeah, trash panda. Yeah. And so it ripped through the screen, opened the bag, opened the box, opened like 3 packages. I'm like, oh man, what a mess. But it was
this an expensive tent that he ripped through the screen on, or was this kind of a Canadian Tire special?
It was probably a Canadian Tire special, but come to think of it, it might have been my brother's tent. So
wow. If LA is still here, let us know how that tent turned out, okay?
Man, you know what? I have way less of a concern about a bear or raccoons getting into my food in a remote Crown Land site than I do if I'm close to a provincial park or inside of a provincial park.
Oh yeah.
That oddly makes a lot of sense to me because there's probably so much more used to human food at a provincial park.
Exactly. I was shocked. This was about 3 weeks ago. I was shocked to find, because I've gotten in the habit of storing my food and whatnot into a vinyl kind of dry bag sealing it up, cleaning it, and then stashing it away underneath a tree, maybe 100, 200 feet away from the campsite. And for the first time since I started doing that 3 weeks ago, I came in the morning and realized that something had actually, for the first time ever, nibbled like this tiny hole in the side of my vinyl dry bag, which had all my food. And that is the worst encounter I've had with wildlife trying to get into my food in probably the last like 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I would say, yeah, if I would feel way more concerned about my safety in terms of food storage if I was in a provincial park or in a very busy area, because animals are after easy meals. If they're in an area that's prone to having lots of traffic and lots of stuff left out on a picnic table or around the campsite, then that's where you're going to see the action.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I find the only animals I have to worry about for the most part when I'm in Crownland situations are the small mammals, right?
Yeah,
mice, the chipmunks, the squirrels. They're the ones that cause all the problems, because as soon as the darkness comes, they're there because they're around the campsites anyways, right? The bears, they travel. Chances of one coming by is a lot slimmer than having them mice in the campsite. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you always, you know what? Any time you're at a campsite, a Crownland campsite at nighttime, just randomly once in a while, flash your flashlight at your makeshift table or where your pots and pans are sitting or something. You'll almost always at some point see a mouse running across the table. You wake up in the morning, you'll see mouse crap laying around, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it's they're more problematic than the bears are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's the thing. Sorry, what?
Oh, hey, yeah, I was just talking about food. We used to just dig a hole under a big rock that little animals couldn't get to, and then drop our food bag in there, and then put the rock over it.
Yeah, there's I mean, that brings up what Dennis is kind of alluding to is there's the quote unquote the Cliff Jacobson argument, or the Cliff Jacobson versus Kevin Cullen argument about
hang or don't hang.
Oh, I won't get into it really, but I think everyone has their own everyone has their own best method of the way they feel most comfortable with securing their food at a campsite. And there are definitely mainly two opposing points of view on that. And one is in a barrel, which I'm sure you're all familiar with.
Yeah.
A sealed food barrel strung from a limb from a tree. I think the rules are about 20 feet up and 10 feet out, or something along those lines.
Like that, yeah.
And then there are opposing viewpoints, mostly kind of led by a gentleman that has a lot of backcountry experience by the name of Cliff Jacobson. That kind of goes along the lines of the vinyl dry bag idea being stored at the base of a tree or somewhere you're familiar with, at least 100 feet away from your site. And the argument there, of course, is that bears climb trees. So it's very nice to think that if you string your food out from a limb way above the ground on a tree somewhere, that somehow a bear won't be able to get to it if it smells your food. But I think we've all seen enough nature videos and YouTube videos to know that bears climb quite well. They climb far better than humans do, and just as almost as well as squirrels do. So I think kind of the tree hanging thing goes a long way in stopping those smaller, peskier foodies like mice and chipmunks and squirrels. But in the event that a bear can actually smell your food, if it's in a barrel strung from a tree, or if it's in a vinyl dry bag, tucked under a log, it's probably going to get to it. But that, yeah, as Dennis alluded to, that is a topic for another 100 YouTube conversations.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I just noticed that we're at 11:01, so we're at full time. So thanks to you, Five, for for hanging out and making this live stream much more interesting. And for those of you in the side chat, thanks for hanging out with us and keeping it lively over there. I hope to see everyone next week at the same. So was it same bat time, same bat channel? So between
Same
now
bat
and
cave.
then, same bat cave. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and I'll see you guys
Nope.
next week.
Yeah,
So-
you know it, Jess. Thank you.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.